Welcome to Rare Coins Numics, where small change can hide big treasures. We reveal the most valuable state quarter ever minted, an ordinary-looking coin with an extraordinary story. Stick around, because this could change how you see every quarter in your pocket, and you might just have one waiting to be discovered. Up first today, we begin with the 1999 Georgia State Quarter, one of the earliest issues in the 50 State Quarters program. At first glance, it may seem like just another quarter from circulation, but certain examples of this coin have proven to be anything but ordinary. The Georgia design features the state's outline with a peach at its center, framed by branches of live oak. A ribbon carries the word "Wisdom," taken from the state motto, while the date 1788 marks Georgia's entry into the Union. This design was chosen to reflect the state's heritage and identity, and for people in Georgia it was a source of pride to see their symbols spread across the country through everyday pocket change. When the program was first introduced in 1999, it captured the imagination of the public in a way that few modern coin releases had done before. Each state would be honored with its own unique design, released in the order of statehood, and Georgia, being the fourth state admitted to the Union, was one of the first to appear. This meant the Georgia Quarter was part of the launch year that set the tone for the entire series, a detail that adds weight to its importance among collectors today. The sheer number of Georgia Quarters struck is impressive, with circulation coins produced at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. With so many millions released, finding one isn't difficult. What is difficult is finding one in flawless condition. Most were spent, tossed in pockets, slid across counters, or rattled around in jars. Years of circulation left the majority of these coins with scratches, dull surfaces, and worn details. That is why high-grade examples stand out so strongly. Collectors seek coins that have survived in pristine condition, showing sharp detail and luster with little to no marks. Grading services use a 70-point scale to judge quality, and the top levels, mint state 67, 68, and above, are where the real value lies. The difference between a Georgia quarter graded MS-65 and one graded MS-68 can be thousands of dollars. The rarity isn't in the design itself, but in how few coins remain untouched by time and circulation. Proof coins from 1999 also add a layer of appeal. Sold directly to collectors by the U.S. Mint, these were never intended for circulation. Proofs were struck multiple times on specially prepared dies, giving them sharp detail and mirror-like fields. Two versions exist, the standard copper-nickel proof and the silver proof, struck in 90% silver. Both are attractive to collectors, but the silver proofs, with their lower mintage and intrinsic metal content, often bring the most interest, especially in perfect grades. Errors and varieties add another dimension to the Georgia quarter story. As with any large-scale coinage, mistakes happened. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and double-die varieties have all been reported. But perhaps the most intriguing are the experimental planchet errors. During this time, the Mint was preparing for the introduction of the Sacagawea dollar, testing new alloy compositions. A handful of Georgia quarters were mistakenly struck on these golden-toned planchets, creating a striking visual difference from the standard silver-gray quarters. Such pieces are exceptionally rare and highly valued, standing as some of the most exciting discoveries linked to this coin. Collectors often point out that the Georgia quarter is more than just a collectible, it's a reminder of a pivotal moment in U.S. numismatic history. The State Quarters program, launched in 1999, became the most successful coin program the Mint had ever introduced. It brought millions of new collectors into the hobby, including children who saved coins with their parents and adults who started new collections after years away from numismatics. Being one of the very first designs released, Georgia's quarter represents the beginning of that surge in interest. Auction records provide concrete proof of its importance. While average examples may only bring face value, top-graded mint state coins and error pieces have achieved remarkable prices. Collectors understand that not all Georgia quarters are equal, and when a flawless or unusual example comes to market, competition is strong. The demand for key coins in this series continues even decades after their release, keeping values steady and in some cases pushing them even higher. For many, what makes the Georgia quarter so appealing is that it represents both accessibility and rarity. Anyone can find a Georgia quarter in circulation, it's not an ancient coin or a limited release. But to find one in truly exceptional condition, or one struck in error, is a rare event. That combination of availability and hidden treasure is what excites collectors, driving them to examine every coin carefully. And this is where the Georgia quarter's story reaches its most surprising point. Though most are worth little more than face value, one outstanding example, preserved in superb condition and recognized for its rarity, sold for an incredible $63,000. It's a striking reminder of what's possible in coin collecting. Something designed for everyday use, something most people wouldn't think twice about spending, can turn out to be one of the great rarities of modern numismatics. Next in line today, we move on to the 2000 Massachusetts State Quarter, a piece that carries both historical weight and numismatic intrigue. This coin belongs to the second year of the 50 State Quarters program, and it quickly distinguished itself with a design that speaks directly to the roots of America's fight for independence. The Massachusetts quarter features the outline of the state in the background, with an image of the Minutemen standing in the foreground. The figure was inspired by the statue at Concord's North Bridge, a monument to the ordinary citizens who stood ready to defend their freedom during the Revolutionary War. Unlike generals or presidents, the Minutemen were farmers, craftsmen, and everyday people who became soldiers when their country called. Including this figure on the coin was a deliberate reminder of the role of citizens in shaping the nation. Alongside the Minuteman, a single star identifies the location of Boston, a subtle mark that connects the design to one of the most important cities of the Revolution. Above the design rests the date 1788, the year Massachusetts became the sixth state to join the Union. The combination of the Minuteman, the star, and the state outline makes the coin not just a representation of Massachusetts, but a tribute to the state's lasting role in America's independence and its place in the Union. The release of this coin came at a time when the State Quarters program was gaining momentum. After the initial excitement of 1999, collectors and non-collectors alike were eagerly waiting for the next set of designs. When the Massachusetts quarter entered circulation in January 2000, banks were flooded with requests. People lined up to exchange bills for rolls of the new coin, and many saved them straight from circulation. It was not unusual for families to search through pocket change together, hoping to find a bright, uncirculated example for their collections. Production of the Massachusetts quarter was carried out at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Together, they struck hundreds of millions of coins, ensuring that the design reached nearly every corner of the country. But as with all circulating coinage, not every piece was perfect. The vast majority ended up in cash registers, vending machines, and circulation jars, accumulating scratches, wear, and loss of detail over time. This is where condition becomes so critical. Collectors place enormous value on coins that survive in pristine state, with no signs of wear and sharp detail visible across the design. A Massachusetts quarter found fresh from a bank roll in 2000 may still be valuable today if it has been carefully preserved. The difference between a common circulated example and a professionally graded coin at the highest mint state levels is enormous. Top-graded pieces are rare because even the smallest imperfections can keep a coin from reaching that level. Beyond the regular circulation strikes, the U.S. Mint also produced special proof versions of the Massachusetts quarter. Proof coins are struck multiple times on polished dies, producing a mirror-like background with frosted detail. These coins were never released into circulation, instead sold in collector sets. Two main types exist: clad proofs made of copper nickel, and silver proofs struck in 90% silver. The silver versions carry special appeal because of their precious metal content and their limited production numbers. When kept in flawless condition, these proofs remain highly collectible and represent the most detailed version of the design. Errors and varieties make this coin even more interesting. With such large production numbers, the chance for mistakes was high. Collectors have identified Massachusetts quarters with off-center strikes, double dies, and even missing design elements. Some coins were struck on planchets not intended for quarters, creating unique and valuable pieces that stand out instantly. These errors are not only rare but also highly sought after, since each one represents a one-of-a-kind accident from the mint's production floor. The Massachusetts quarter also benefits from the timing of its release. By 2000, the collecting craze around state quarters had fully taken hold. Unlike earlier coin series where only dedicated numismatists paid close attention, the state quarters program drew in the general public. Millions of Americans actively searched their change and bought collector sets. As a result, certain states became more memorable, and Massachusetts, with its strong historical imagery, remains one of the standout designs of the early years. Over the years, auction houses have confirmed the strength of this demand. While most Massachusetts quarters remain worth their face value, the very best examples have shocked many with the prices they bring. Coins graded at the highest mint state levels are extremely rare, and when they appear, competition among collectors is intense. Add in the occasional proof error or experimental strike, and the final prices can climb even higher than expected. One remarkable example, preserved in outstanding condition and certified as one of the finest known, sold for an impressive $58,000. For a coin that millions of people once used for bus fares, snacks, and daily purchases, that price highlights the surprising value hidden in modern coinage. The Massachusetts State Quarter, with its tribute to the Minutemen and its connection to the Revolutionary War, stands as both a historical reminder and a collector's prize. Now let's move on to the 2005 Oregon State Quarter, a coin that stands out not only for its design but also for the story it carries within the State Quarters program. This program was one of the most popular initiatives ever introduced by the U.S. Mint, and it successfully combined education, artistry, and collecting in a way that captured the attention of millions of Americans. For Oregon, the design chosen was a fitting tribute to one of the state's most breathtaking landmarks, Crater Lake. The coin's reverse depicts the deep blue waters of Crater Lake with Wizard Island rising from the center, framed by tall evergreens along the rim. Collectors and casual observers alike often describe it as one of the most visually striking designs in the series. Unlike some state quarters that focused on historical figures or symbols, Oregon leaned into its natural beauty, and the result was a design that feels timeless and memorable. Even years later, it continues to be praised for how well it balances simplicity with detail. Production of the Oregon Quarter took place at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with millions struck for everyday circulation. Yet, despite the high numbers, the majority of these coins followed the same path as any other quarter, into cash drawers, soda machines, and pocket change. Once in circulation, coins pick up wear almost immediately. The surfaces lose their shine, scratches develop, and fine details fade. That's why collectors pay such close attention to condition when it comes to coins like this. Among the surviving coins, those that never entered circulation or were saved directly from mint rolls are the ones that hold the most promise. High-grade examples show every detail of the design with crisp clarity, from the outline of Wizard Island to the texture of the trees along the rim. The fields remain clean and reflective, and the original mint luster shimmers across the surface. These qualities are not easy to preserve, which is why top-graded coins always command premium prices. Proof versions of the Oregon Quarter were also released for collectors. These came in both copper-nickel clad and in 90% silver, each struck with extra care on polished planchets to produce mirror-like backgrounds and frosted details. Proofs were never intended for circulation, but even among them, grading makes a difference. Perfectly preserved silver proofs can attract strong demand, since they showcase the design in its sharpest possible form. Adding to the story are error coins. While rare compared to the total mintage, a few Oregon quarters show striking mistakes, like being struck off-center, displaying double images, or even struck on the wrong type of metal planchet. These errors are the result of rare minting mishaps and are highly collectible, not just because of their scarcity but also because each one is unique. For Oregon, error examples surface from time to time, and they never fail to attract attention when offered at auction. When the Oregon Quarter was first introduced in 2005, it sparked immediate interest from the public. Many people set them aside simply because the design stood out. Coin boards, albums, and quarter maps made the collecting experience more personal, especially for younger collectors who were just beginning to explore the hobby. For them, the Oregon quarter was not only a coin but also a souvenir of a state famous for its natural beauty. As the years passed, though, the everyday Oregon quarters that people held on to remained common, while the truly exceptional examples became harder and harder to find. It's those coins, untouched, preserved, and graded at the highest levels, that separate themselves from the rest and reach extraordinary values in the collector marketplace. And this is exactly what happened when one remarkable specimen appeared at auction. Certified at the very top of the grading scale and showing flawless preservation, this coin quickly drew attention from serious collectors and investors alike. Bidding was competitive, and the final hammer price reflected just how much demand there is for perfection. That single 2005 Oregon State quarter sold for an astounding $51,000. A coin originally worth only 25 cents, struck for everyday transactions, turned into a valuable treasure because of its rarity, condition, and collector demand. It's an incredible example of how modern coins, often overlooked, can still carry immense value when the right combination of factors comes together. For collectors, the Oregon quarter is a reminder that every coin tells a story, and sometimes that story ends in surprising places. Whether it's a flawless mint state example, a brilliant silver proof, or a rare error coin, the Oregon quarter shows just how much potential can lie in what at first glance seems like ordinary pocket change. So next time you find yourself with a handful of quarters, take a moment to really look at them closely. That simple habit could lead you to a hidden gem that most people overlook. Coins like the Oregon State quarter prove that history, artistry, and even unexpected value can be discovered in the most everyday places. And as we continue our journey through more state quarters, there are still countless fascinating finds and remarkable surprises waiting to be revealed. Next up, we arrive at one of the most captivating entries in the state quarters program, the 2008 Hawaii State Quarter. As the final coin released in this long-running series, the Hawaii quarter carries not only artistic beauty but also a sense of closure, marking the end of an era in U.S. coinage. For collectors, this coin is more than just a design, it's a historical milestone, a tribute to America's island state, and a reminder of how deeply coins can reflect culture and identity. The reverse design features King Kamehameha I, one of Hawaii's most legendary figures, standing proudly with his arm outstretched toward the islands. Behind him lies the Hawaiian archipelago itself, a symbolic representation of unity, leadership, and history. The presence of the inscription, Ue Mau Ku'ie o Ka Ina I Ka Pono, meaning, the life of the land is perpetuated in righteousness, further connects the design to Hawaii's culture and traditions. Few state quarters capture their state's depth and heritage as powerfully as this one, making it instantly recognizable and widely admired. Because it was the last state quarter to be released, anticipation for the Hawaii issue was exceptionally high. Collectors had followed the program since its beginning in 1999, and by the time Hawaii's turn arrived in 2008, there was already tremendous excitement. People lined up at banks to grab rolls on release day, and official mint products featuring the design sold out quickly. Even casual collectors saved Hawaii quarters, knowing it marked the program's conclusion. That sense of finality gave the coin a special position in the series and, over time, cemented its reputation as one of the most memorable designs. Still, not all Hawaii quarters are created equal. While millions were minted, most went straight into circulation, where they quickly picked up scratches, wear, and marks from daily use. The real treasures are the ones that manage to avoid all that, coins saved in uncirculated rolls, proof sets, or carefully preserved from the beginning. Among those, the sharpest strikes with flawless surfaces and untouched luster are the ones collectors prize the most. There's also variety within the Hawaii quarters themselves. Silver-proof editions, struck in limited numbers, offer brilliant detail and mirror-like surfaces that showcase the design at its very best. Then there are error coins, rarities caused by accidents during the minting process. These include examples with double strikes, off-center images, or even die cracks. Though rare, such errors elevate the coin into a category of its own, where collectors compete intensely to own a piece unlike any other. What makes the Hawaii quarter even more fascinating is its role as the series finale. After nearly a decade of state designs, this coin brought the program full circle. It reminded collectors not only of Hawaii's unique place in American history but also of the journey through all 50 states. That emotional weight is part of why demand for top-quality examples remains so strong today. It wasn't just another release, it was the coin that symbolized the end of a historic chapter in American money. Think of it this way, for most people, a Hawaii quarter is just another coin to spend at the store. But to a seasoned collector, the difference between a well-worn quarter and a perfectly preserved, high-grade example can be measured in tens of thousands of dollars. It's that wide gap between ordinary and extraordinary that keeps interest alive in coins like this one. And with collectors always chasing the best of the best, the Hawaii quarter continues to inspire fierce competition at auctions. And here's the most eye-opening part: one pristine example of the 2008 Hawaii State Quarter, preserved in exceptional condition and certified at the very highest grading levels, reached a staggering price of $45,000 at auction. Imagine that, what began as a simple 25-cent coin ended up commanding a value greater than many people's yearly income. A small piece of metal transformed into a treasure, thanks to rarity and demand. This coin shows us that hidden treasures don't always come from centuries past. Sometimes, they can be as modern as a quarter you might still see in your change today. The Hawaii State Quarter reminds us that artistry, history, and rarity can combine in ways that transform something so ordinary into something remarkable. It's a perfect example of how a single design can carry both cultural weight and financial reward. So the next time you come across a Hawaii quarter, don't just glance at it and move on. Take a closer look. It might be one of those rare survivors with exceptional potential. And who knows, that single coin sitting quietly in your pocket could be the start of a much bigger discovery. After all, every collector's greatest find often begins with something that seems unimportant at first. As we wrap up with this coin, keep in mind that collecting isn't only about the financial value. It's about the stories coins tell, the history they preserve, and the connections they create between the past and the present. Moving on to the 2014 USA Arches State Quarter, we arrive at a chapter of the State Quarter program that celebrates one of America's most breathtaking natural wonders, Arches National Park in Utah. Known for its dramatic red sandstone arches carved by millions of years of wind and water, this park is home to over 2,000 natural stone formations. The coin's reverse design captures one of the most iconic arches, Delicate Arch, standing proudly as both a natural marvel and a symbol of Utah's rugged landscape. On this small piece of metal, the vastness of nature was etched into history. Unlike many designs in the program, this one carries an almost sculptural quality. The arch seems to rise off the coin's surface, giving it an extraordinary three-dimensional effect. It's a design that immediately catches the eye, even to someone who doesn't normally pay attention to coins. That striking realism has made the Arches Quarter one of the standout issues from the America the Beautiful series, a coin that feels more like a miniature monument than ordinary currency. The arch's design also connects powerfully with Utah's identity. For residents, Delicate Arch isn't just a landmark, it's a state treasure, appearing on license plates, postcards, and even athletic uniforms. By placing it on the quarter, the U.S. Mint captured not just a physical place, but the pride of a state whose landscapes inspire millions of visitors each year. In this way, the coin became both art and ambassador, carrying Utah's natural wonders into the hands of people across the country. But beyond its artistry and symbolism, the Arches Quarter holds a deeper fascination for collectors, the thrill of rarity. At first glance, it looks no different from any other modern quarter you might get as change at the grocery store. Yet, among the millions minted, a small number stand out. Some bear errors, double dies where lettering appears doubled, off-center strikes where the design drifts, or tiny cracks in the die that leave raised lines across the surface. Each of these anomalies transforms a common coin into a one-of-a-kind discovery, fueling excitement among sharp-eyed collectors. Equally prized are the coins that avoided circulation altogether. These pieces, pulled fresh from mint rolls or sealed inside collector sets, remain untouched by scratches, nicks, and wear. Their luster glows as though they were struck only yesterday, with every detail of Delicate Arch captured in sharp relief. The best of these, those graded at the highest levels by professional services, become the true trophies of the series. What sets the Arches quarter apart from many others, however, is its enduring appeal. While some coins fade into the background once their novelty wears off, the Arches design continues to attract attention. Part of that is its sheer beauty, but part of it is the symbolism, nature's resilience carved into stone, now immortalized in metal. Collectors see in it not just a piece of pocket change, but a tribute to America's landscapes and the artistry of the mint. And then comes the part of the story that turns this coin from fascinating into unforgettable. While most Arches quarters remain worth only 25 cents, a select few have shocked the numismatic world by reaching values far beyond expectation. High-grade examples, preserved in pristine condition with no visible flaws, have become hotly contested at auctions. Factor in unusual minting quirks or rare error varieties, and the stakes climb even higher. The most remarkable example to date pushed the boundaries of what anyone thought possible for a modern coin. A single 2014 Arches State Quarter, certified as one of the very finest known, drew intense bidding and ultimately achieved a jaw-dropping value, $32,000. That's right, a coin you might casually spend at a vending machine became a treasure commanding the price of a brand new car. It's this unpredictability, this thrill of discovery, that keeps the world of coin collecting so alive. The Arches quarter is proof that modern coins can hold just as much potential as centuries-old rarities. Sometimes the difference between pocket change and a fortune comes down to condition, a small detail, or simply recognizing what others overlook. So, the next time you come across a 2014 Arches quarter, don't dismiss it as just another coin. Take a closer look, check its surfaces, study its strike, and see if it might be one of those rare survivors with a story to tell. You never know when the most ordinary object could reveal itself to be extraordinary. And with that, we bring today's journey through rare and valuable quarters to a close. Thank you for joining me on this adventure into America's coinage. Remember, collecting isn't just about financial value, it's about history, discovery, and the quiet thrill of holding a piece of culture in your hands. Stay curious, stay observant, and who knows, the next great treasure might be waiting in your very own pocket. If you enjoyed today's exploration, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and share it with fellow coin enthusiasts. Your support helps keep these stories alive and ensures we can continue uncovering the hidden gems of U.S. coinage together. Until next time, happy collecting and may your next find be one worth remembering.